Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're back in the Great League. I wanted to elaborate slightly more on my last video, so if you haven't checked that out, please do so now before watching this one. So I've recorded some battles using each of the leads that I went over in my last video. So they're all leads that have worked for me, so are worth trying out if you are struggling with lead choices or members for your team that are potentially strong with whatever you do use on lead. So yeah, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so to support the channel. That would be fantastic, and I'd really appreciate it. So let's get straight into the video and I'll show you what I mean. Okay guys, jumping straight into the first matchup here. We have Mew on the lead. So Mew we know has a massive move pool, 25 possible charge moves. So the great thing about Mew is whatever charge move you have, the opponent's probably going to want to shield because they're not going to know what's coming at them. I do have Shadow Claw on my Mew, but what you could use is Snarl. Snarl does, as we know, charge faster, the dark move. I do have Shadow Claw for the extra damage, especially with the flame charge that I've chosen on my Mew, doing that extra damage if we do manage to land a charge move. So I do charge up another charge move there because we've got 2 power-ups and switch with a charge move stored and catch that Brave Bird on the Stunfisk. Stunfisk, another solid choice for a lead. I have used it when the Great League was last coming back round and it performs really well. It charges up so quickly. Rock Slide and Earthquake, both very powerful moves. Rock Slide against the fire types and the flying types, and then Earthquake against Registeel and like a mirror match Stunfisk. Very, very strong. And I even managed to take down an Azu here with Earthquake, so pretty insane. And then you'll see the damage Rock Slide does on the flyers with this Altaria coming in now. Insane, almost half HP there just from a Rock Slide. And we bring the Mew in just to do a bit of extra damage. Flame Charge doesn't do a lot of damage, but does enough. And then we have that other Pokemon I talked about in my last video, Mantine, in the back, just to close this game out nicely. The Altaria was running Dazzling Gleam there, which did surprise me slightly, but the opponent's shields are down and an Ice Beam will be more than enough to take down this Altaria. And then they do have a Skarmory in the back, we just bubble it down. Very close game and well played to the opponent there. Okay, so in the next matchup, I've got another showcasing Mew a second time, as I have put a lot of effort into doing videos on Mew. So I have Grass Knot and Flame Charge, which has a good amount of coverage, but I know the recommended moveset is Wild Charge and Surf, which is probably for Great League and the Pokemon I've run into a lot better suited. But Grass Knot has similar effect to Wild Charge on the water types, but won't do as much on the flyers like Altaria and the Skarmory. So Wild Charge probably definitely a better choice than Grass Knot. So maybe that's one for me to change, but worked very well on that gold up there, as you saw. Probably did over 75% of its health. And there's Mantine again, another one I talked about in my last video. That Ice Beam damage there on the Cherry, and they did not shield, which is a bad mistake there from the opponent, but they do hit me with a Solar Beam, which takes me out instantly. We can come in and farm down with Mew. Then the Toxicroak comes back in. We have a Flame Charge stored up. The only thing Stunfisk struggles with is the fighting types and other ground types. Things like Mud Bomb, the fast charging move. I know Wishcash uses it as well, and Toxicroak, so probably don't want to be facing off against those with Stunfisk, but it's pretty solid against other things. Okay, moving to the next matchup, I believe we changed the lead to Venusaur here, so we have a bad lead here against a Marowak, so we switch straight into Stunfisk. Stunfisk isn't great against the Alola Marowak, but both charge moves are super effective, so but I think both of theirs are as well. Bone Club definitely super effective. But I'm pretty sure Rock Slide does a bigger chunk than Bone Club does to us. An Earthquake will take out an Alola Marowak in more or less one shot, I believe. And they bring in a Lapras, which is great for me because I have an Earthquake stored up. It does over half the Lapras' health there. I think we do manage to get to another Rock Slide as well. Stunfisk is so spammy, that's why I like to have it on my teams. Because you can get that power move, that nuke of Earthquake if you're facing a Marowak or an opposing Stunfisk. Or something really bulky like a Snorlax or a Lapras just to do a massive chunk of health straight away. And there's that Venusaur back in. You see the uses of Venusaur coming out here in this battle. Venusaur saved me a lot of times actually during this new season so far, so they actually switch into a Wigglytuff here, which, as everybody knows, the poison type damage from this Sludge Bomb absolutely destroys fairy types, and then down goes the Wigglytuff. The Lapras comes back in, but I have a Frenzy Plant stored, which is also super effective against the water typing. So the Lapras goes down, then we switch into Mantine to not let it charge up on us there. Now they do hit us with a Shadow Ball, does a fair chunk of health, but we should get to a charge move. We get to the Ice Beam, not very effective, but does just enough more than Bubble Beam so we can bubble down the Marowak and win that match. Good battle there. Okay, moving into the next matchup. We've changed the lead again here into Skarmory. So I really like Skarmory lead. It's not fast charging, but it always seems to do well for me. Quite bulky as well. I've used the double steel with Stunfisk quite often, and every time I've used it, it just seems to do well for me. Steel flying type, and Stunfisk with the steel ground type. Both dual typing, so very handy. The Sky Attack more spammy, and then you've got the Brave Bird nuke for anything that's hard to deal with, like the Laprases, like the Snorlax. And Brave Bird does not do much to a Stunfisk though, so just be aware. Most things Brave Bird will do a massive chunk of damage to, but Stunfisk just takes it. And you'll see the super effective damage on a Marowak here. They do shield, which is very smart, and they do get to another charge move, but we've got one stored ourselves. Shadow Bone. And we go for the Earthquake. Rock Slide probably would have been enough, but I didn't want to risk it. Get that out of the way. And then we do manage to get to another Rock Slide. Clefable not doing too much damage to us. The Charm not too effective against us with the Steel typing. Does take us out, but we do have Skarmory in the back. I had Steel Wing on the Skarmory at this point, and that is super effective against the fairy types as well, so if you want an answer to fairy types, Steel Wing fast move is super effective. Okay, moving into the next matchup, I believe we changed the lead again into Azumarill. So we do get a Marowak lead here, which is very good for us, but they switch into Azu. Azu mirror match is fine because I talked about in the last video, play rough. If you have Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, you don't have any answer to the Azumarill mirror match, and in the higher levels, you're probably going to come up to people like this who have got play rough on their Azu as well. So you're just having a play rough off for a while. I do decide to shield here because this Azu's higher rank than mine is doing more damage to me, so I did decide to shield. I think we get our play rough off just in time. I have changed a Venusaur on my team now for the counter to Azu, because if you run into one Azumarill match, it's just a pain really, it takes too long. I think I do manage to win this one, but at the expense of a shield. Or maybe both shields. But then they bring the Marowak back in, so we can start bubbling down on that health. They've thrown their energy on the Azu, so now we can come in with Stunfisk, and they switch into Lucario, which is not too good for us, that fighting type in there. We do get to a Rock Slide, and that is the opponent's second shield down. We switch smartly into Wigglytuff, super effective against those fighters. Wigglytuff, probably one of my favourite Pokemon, as you might know. It's just so insane against those fighting types. And the Marowak comes back in. They throw their energy at us here, which is questionable play because we were almost down. And then we can come back in with a Stunfisk, and now the Marowak does beat us to a charge move, unfortunately. But it doesn't take us out, and then we can go for the Rock Slide. And that does take out the Marowak. There's the super effective damage shown there on the Marowak from Rock Slide. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. It's been a pleasure. I hope you got some valuable input from this video, some leads you could possibly use or try, and some different Pokemon possibly for variations to your teams. Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next video.